Well, welcome back, everybody, to
Hello, listeners.
Zig and Larry Ignore a Topic, the only show.
Correct. Thanks to Big Brother, this is now the only show.
That's
Go
it.
ahead, check Netflix. There's nothing. There's no more. Joe Rogan's gone. It's just us.
It's just us.
We found the genie in the bottle. We got our one wish, and we're all you got, kiddies. Oh boy,
and
we're so sorry. We knew it was a bad idea at the time, but
yeah, but we couldn't help ourselves.
that's right. And don't worry, very soon I will be back in the giggle juice, full force. But we're still doing okay with just the couple of beers a day. Drinking responsible is weird.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
what's the point?
if you're gonna, that's I've never understood that. Drink responsibly. Kiss my ass.
You think Vikings did mead in moderation? No.
No, no. If you're gonna drink, you tie one on.
Hmm.
You go to town. You make memories that you'll never remember, but other people will tell you about.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
yeah. I saw something the other day where s- some dude was doing a sobriety thing, and he was like, "Here's maybe some signs when you know you should quit drinking," and then somebody edited in with, "You know what? Fuck that. Maybe you should drink more. Have you thought of that? have, have you thought that maybe you should have more alcohol? It can't hurt, considering everything.
What, you want to live forever?
I'd rather die of something I love doing."
Absolutely. And it's all the squishy organs down at the bottom. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You don't really think about those all that much. Your
no,
heart may explode, but most likely it's going to be one of the squishy ones that you eat off of a chicken anyway.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
when it starts to hurt from the inside, that's when maybe you have a glass of water and and
One, everything in moderation.
yeah, and a bean burrito just to clear things out.
Oh God, if only life was that easy. Just give me a glass of water and a bean burrito. I'll be fine.
just yeah, no, sir, you have terminal cancer. But you know what? I'm gonna try 2 glasses of water then. How about that?
Glass of water and a bean burrito cures what ails you. What ails him? I don't know. Life, um, an asshole that isn't ablaze. I'm not certain.
He's ailed by the fact that his guts don't hurt, but he's gonna fix that. Uh,
You know the old saying: an apple a day is probably too much.
yeah, and yes, I will apologize to the listeners real quick for
Finally.
the for this. There, that's it. That's all
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah,
No,
good job.
the sound issues, the technical issues we've had the past couple episodes. I think I have a USB port that's dying on my laptop, so we're trying a new USB port to see if that one also is dying, because that was unsettling the past 2 episodes where I'm like panicking. If you watch it on YouTube, you'll see the panic in my eyes of fuck. What the fuck am I? Oh, I don't even know how to fix this.
It is the same look of panic anytime there is a wrong hole situation.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Whoa. Oh.
I mean, I'm not.
Why
Is that okay? Are you okay with this? Can
am
we?
I gonna have to add you to my Christmas card list? Speaking of which, Larry, Happy New Year. How was your Christmas?
It's great, buddy.
Yeah.
It was super great. We it I do we have to fake this? Because
Yeah. We do.
uh,
It's yeah.
it was great, relaxing. We had some great food
This episode was recorded on December 19th
in front of not a live studio audience.
in front of a dog that's almost dead. In fact,
Yeah, everyone, no one's here watching me. The
good.
the the monkey in an elf dress.
Spectacular.
Yeah, that's it. That's no. Oh yeah, and you get to see Nicole's Christmas presents behind me. That's fun.
Nice.
I mean,
I can,
the boxes that they came in, because we're recording this.
I had Angie's Christmas present, the big one, delivered to the house. I can't pick it up because you need two hands and both legs. So she picked up. So what's this? I'm like, go hide it from you in the closet, and then later bring it out so I can wrap it for you.
And then I'm gonna need you to put that underneath the tree.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do the tree this year. No, the dog did almost die today because there was a there. I love it outside on my patio. There is this beautiful teak sofa and ottoman and table set that took me the majority of a day to put together, and I fucking detest it. It's actually very, very nice.
Sure.
It cost a lot of money. It cost two-thirds of what my actual living room set cost, which I thought was a bit much. Can we discuss the conversation or the let's not call it an argument, the conversation that I lost in
Yes.
order to purchase this,
Yeah,
and then it,
I'd like to hear this.
yeah, well, I mean that's basically it. We had a conversation, not an argument. By the end of it, I'm building this thing 3 days later, so I lost the conversation. Um, it took most of the day. It came in three big boxes, and you would assume that like parts of the table would all be wrapped together and parts of the ottoman would all be wrapped together. Incorrect. Just all of the parts that were roughly the same size were wrapped together. So
Oh,
parts
sure.
of the sofa next to parts of the table, and they all had these little stickers that let you know what's what. Half of those had fallen off in the fucking box. So it's just a whole lot of does that look vaguely like the back of a sofa or the top of a table? Both awesome. Let's see.
So
Well, at
you
least the directions are hand drawn, so that'll help.
so you just cobbled together some Johnny Cash one piece at a time.
Exactly.
Franken furniture. It's like we can sit on it. It doesn't
Yeah,
look right. I don't care. We can sit on that.
you
And
can. This
is that a table? It's now a bin. Can we turn it over? Probably shouldn't. No, that's
but just to give me a little bit of love from the universe, um, which I don't believe in, but still, uh, it has now become what I basically built, much to the chagrin of my wife and to the enjoyment of my dog, is a terrarium for geckos. There are at least two that live in little cushions and the nooks of this thing. We have outdoor furniture with throw pillows, for Christ's sake, because she wanted those for outdoor made throw pillows. And every morning there is gecko shit on the armrest and or pillow. We've named at least the big one Riley because he's living the life of in this ridiculously overpriced outside fucking furniture. And every day, and Ange is terrified of these little things. She doesn't really enjoy like small animals of the ilk. She's not like she doesn't commune with nature. If she ever saw a mouse, she would probably freak the fuck out. Actually, she does. It's happened once. But the lizard she's begrudgingly become okay with. But every time before we sit down, she's got to pick up like every cushion and talk to it. Riley, are you in there? Riley?
and the neighbors just think that she's lost it. She's talking
Correct.
to the furniture again.
Furniture's named Riley. And the reason why the dog is dead is because she did find Riley. Riley very correctly was freaked the fuck out because he was asleep in what he thought was the best place ever. And he bolted. The dog bolted after it. The dog forgot that the outside is tile, and I had spilled some water while I was watering plants, and he skidded and did a header right into the fucking wall. So he's fine. He's
Your
just
dog's got some massive head trauma. Don't let him sleep. You're not supposed to
he
let concussion victims sleep.
the only real difference I see is that he walks slower and slightly more crooked. But I think he'll be fine.
It's still a straight line, but his back legs try to walk faster than his front legs. He just starts to get a little out of whack. It's like me when I've had 3 tequila shots. Just the
Yep.
hips are going. The hips are going.
I'll get there just in my own time and my own way. This is what we're gonna call the hillbilly ramble, and it's gonna go befucked real soon.
Oh, yeah, I think I mentioned it last episode. Nicole and I had a fancy dress party we went to. I
Hmm.
almost said we had to go to. It was for a friend of ours, little Christmas slash
We're
birthday.
talking the English or the American, not the British fancy dress. You didn't go in costumes. You dressed
No,
up.
no,
Yeah.
I say had to. It was it was a joyful get together where we got to see a friend we hadn't seen for a while, but I am not used to putting a suit on and
Hmm.
tucking a shirt. Like the nicest thing I tend to wear, even on stage, is like a sweatshirt that I got from my buddy Patrick's shop. It's not. I don't regularly, unless it's a work shirt, unless it's like a mechanic's shirt. I don't put stuff on with buttons, or
It's
or
not
if
your
there is something with buttons, it's unbuttoned, because there's a tank top on underneath. I was so
it's not your speed. You're not the kind of guy that has a loofah in the shower. You're more of a trowel kind of guy.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just I scrape the soap You know,
Hmm.
we need a new bar of soap. No, there's still soap in there. Just get it out. You
You
just
got to
gotta
get it.
dig it.
Hmm.
You gotta dig it, and then you just slap it on. I've been trying to be a little bit more, taking care of myself, moisturizing. I'm moisturized now, um, because I've look.
Hmm.
It's for Nicole. It's not for me. If I realize she has to look at this a lot,
So
and
putting a little bit more of a supple sheen on it, you think is the way to go?
I don't know, but it seems to be okay.
Okay.
It beats, I mean, it's either this or shoe leather. It's
I mean, it's kind of like there's a dead possum in the yard. I don't know. Plant a bush by it. It's like
it's
that'll gussy that up pretty good.
well, it's like an old pair of shoes that you do get polished, or like an old pair of boots that you get polished up. They still look like an old pair of boots, but at least they're shiny.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
cleaned up. But I well, and I've also lost enough weight from when I bought that suit and the shirt that went with it, that it was all just kind of hanging off of me. It looked like I put it on, and it's a it's a two-button suit, but I could wrap it over the jacket like it was a like it was double-breasted.
There you go.
Which is great, but I just kept feeling like I was playing dress up and Pop's clothes.
There you
I was
go.
like, this just, I
If
look
the
good.
shoes don't fit, then you are shrinking.
Right. No, the shoes were fine. The
Okay.
shoes were good. But yeah, and I didn't know what to do with my hands all night. Like I put them in my pocket, and then I'd start to put them in my jacket pockets. And then I'd be like, you can't, you're not supposed to do that. That's not what a gentleman is supposed. I'm dressed like a gentleman. I had my nice fedora on. I had the nice Gorin brothers, um, but which I usually wear with just like a t-shirt or a like Western style snap front black shirt that with
And a
like
thong with rhinestones.
because I am a fancy girl.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like to, if I'm doing it, I'm gonna do it upright. Um, and then I shine up the old boots is what I do and just head into town. But yeah, I just didn't know. And the more people were like, "Wow, you look great. You should think about wearing a suit more." I was like, "You need to shut up. This is not." I'm like a little kid. You're like, "Okay, you got to put your suit on." And I'm like, "I don't wanna. I want Spider-Man jammies. That's what I'm comfy in." But yeah, when I put it on, I was expected to be like physically uncomfortable, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually really big on me." So at least that's comfortable. No belt, did the suspenders with it, so I was comfy, but I felt physically fine, mentally very disturbed by the whole thing.
Well, that's you have to be pretty comfortable with that general sensation by this point, right?
Being uncomfortable
Well, I'm just like
in my own
that's kind of
skin,
what I do.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I just paint everything on for the outside world, and inside there's just a constant white noise scream that's going on.
Yes, yeah, that is my inner my inner monologue. My therapist did ask me, what does your inner monologue sound like? I said, well, sometimes it's my parents telling me all the things I've done wrong, and sometimes it's just and she was like, well, that's somewhere to start, isn't it? I guess.
It's more. It's like an air raid siren being violated. This is kind of what's constantly in betwixt my ears. It's impossible to tune. It's not delightful by any means.
A tornado siren that got stuck in its uncle's basement. That's what it is.
Ah, it's a cage built for one. Delightful.
I can't stand up. That's the point.
But
Now
you
put
sure can bend over.
now take your shirt off and put that puzzle together.
Thanks, Patton.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to.
This is homage.
Yep, I was gonna cite the source. I usually, well, I think it was Nicole that pointed out. She's like on one of our episodes where I would say something and then be like, and it's this attributed to this person. I want to make sure that never. I know that there's been times where I have accidentally like used somebody's like a one-off line on stage and went, "Oh no, that belong."
Mhm.
And so I would even call myself out on stage, be like, "All right, that, yeah, thank you," just throw the name out and just keep going because I
Right.
don't ever want to be accused of stealing a joke.
It is easier than you think it is, because a lot of those ones, especially ones that you love, they just like become part of your like everyday lexicon. And there's you could use it, with anytime you're not being recorded or in front of an audience, it's okay to like quote somebody else for a giggle with your buddies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you don't want to do that on stage. That's a
No,
bad call.
no. I've
It's stupidly easy though.
It is. It's stupidly easy because, especially if you're just riffing and have fun with the audience, and something just falls out of your mouth, and you're like, oh no, oh no. Um,
If you find yourself 3 minutes into a bit,
that's
no,
different.
that's a
Yeah, you're a
different
piece of
thing.
shit,
That's
is what you are.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
yeah, uh, no, I bet I'm much better about it now. Oh, that's the point I was trying to make. It was like earlier, I and I only did it like maybe 3 times. And the whole time I've been doing stand up, I've only done it 3 times where something has fallen out of my mouth. And then I'm just like, well, fuck. But it wasn't like the full bit. It wasn't even like a punchline. It was just like
Yeah.
a one-off
A
line.
quotable line from somebody's very quotable
Yeah,
set.
like it was just like a tag that they had thrown out, and it just, it comes out, and you're like, well, nope, that's not mine. But I think talking about that, where it's just easy to do, is because being fans of, like, you and I are both fans of comedy. It like, I've heard other comments like, I don't listen to anybody else because I don't want to do X, Y, or Z, and I'm like, how can you not? How can you, if you're doing it?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't listen to anybody else's comedy, and I'm like, well, I'm a fan of comedy first and foremost.
You're the only artist who's never been inspired by a previous artist who came before you.
Right. Well, and I've also I was told to, like, take the time and listen to your favorite like artists. Like, a musician will listen to a song and be like, oh, he does the note progression like this, and then he switches over keys
Oh, sure,
to
yeah.
this. It's the same thing with comedy, either whether it be a movie or listening to stand up or what have you. You can listen to it as a fan, and then you can go back and listen to it with a critical ear, like it's almost a scientific study of, okay, they start here and then they build, and this is how they used Freytag's pyramid, and so they build up the story, and then they do this, and then they bring it, and it's useful to do that. Just don't steal people's shit.
I'm just waiting to see. You put that button on it. I was waiting to see what happened there. Like, just a little great giggle. What's going on? Don't steal people's shit. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
I rambled. Well, and I was in the middle of that thought, and I dropped something.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, whoa.
I'm watching this thought roll downhill. Like, eventually, it's gonna just even out here in
Yeah,
the
we're
minutes.
gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Where else are we going to get to, Larry? We're going to get to our sponsor for the episode. It's splitsociety.org. That's right, splitsociety.org, the purveyor of fine, hand-rolled artisanal spliffs, and a whole bunch of other really groovy stuff. If you are the kind of person who enjoys rolling something up, putting it in your mouth, putting fire on the other end of it, and sneaking out back, then you should check out splitsociety.org. They are a little bit of everything that you buy will go to a cause of your choice. They do a lot for charity, which is spectacular. And the products that they do are they're environmentally conscious, and they do support local artisans as well, featuring no glue and no bullshit. Here is Larry putting up Split Society, their homepage, on our current feed if you're watching us on the YouTubes. If not, check out splitsociety.org and order some really groovy stuff. Be sure to use promo code Zig and Larry at checkout to get yourself a little bit off from Split Society. There's the grinders.
I use that promo code all the time to get myself a little bit off.
Yeah?
Not a lot off, just a little bit off.
Just spitting in your hand, screaming Zig and Larry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so go back down. I want to bring up something. So this rolling tray, this is how much of a fucking square I am. This is a rolling tray with a the magnetic cover that goes over the top of it, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's for your dried uh well, actually what I use it for is like dried basil, but it's like for your dried herb. And so like, when you break it up into seeds or whatnot, you put it in there, and then there's this metal there's this little flap that goes over it, but it's magnetized. So it's just like it's a little magnetized pot Tupperware. And the boys over there gave me one of those, and I'm such a square. I knew that that was a rolling tray, but I thought that the top was a fucking mouse pad for about 7 months before I realized that it fit directly over the top. I'm like, oh, that's a container. Right, stupid. That's what that's for. Since the inception of these in the 70s, you moron.
You know what, buddy? It's okay. It's okay.
Oh God,
We,
I'm such a loser.
we all learn from our oopsie doodles.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Here's
I figured, while we since we were talking about them, we could have it pulled up. See?
this
I'm
is some of
using
their stuff.
technology. I like that beanie. Anyway,
Split Society. Go check them out. Splitsociety.org.
see, I
So
use technology for the
I don't.
betterment of our episode. Look at me.
I don't. I love when you get that little twinkle in your eye. Like, I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna Google something.
Look at me. Look at me doing what I think I'm supposed to do. I don't know.
Do you guys? I'm gonna ready for this. I'm not gonna do segues. Do you have anything planned for this New Year's Eve? Since this is the New Year's Eve special, Larry.
I have two shows New Year's Eve.
Nice.
With Mason City Limits Comedy Club in Mason City, Illinois, and then there's one more show off location, and I don't remember where it is.
That just sounds like you're gonna do a set at the Mason City, and then they're gonna throw you in the back of a van and go, "Come on, boy, we're taking you to #2. You
You're
don't need to
not
know where it
wrong.
is."
That's kind of what's gonna happen.
Excellent. All right.
It's a literal do my set. I think I'm doing 45. And it's got to be a tight 45. I can't do the 45 to an hour. Cool, I can
Mm-hmm.
do that. It's got to be 45 minutes. Come off stage, high five people on the way by, jump in the car, get the fuck down the road, and get to the next show. It is because it's. I mean, it's like 20 minutes down the road, maybe 30, but it's like get in and go.
That's how you're plugging your show. If you can't catch Larry at his first show, be sure to stand outside and follow him for 20, 30 minutes.
Yes.
see what vehicle they're putting him in and just chase.
Yep.
And you can check him out. Spectacular. Do you usually do stuff for New Year's?
Um, I didn't. It was weird. I wasn't. I didn't book anything for New Year's Eve, what, 2019, 2020. So going into 2020, I was like, no, I want to spend that evening with my wife, just the two of us doing New Year's Eve stuff. And we saw how that turned out. And of course,
Mhm.
last year, was there any, but yeah, I have been booked for most New Year's Eves, um, doing, something, but the past couple years, no. One was on purpose and one was because, the world. So,
Mhm. Well, it won't come as a great shock to you that I don't give a shit. I don't. I
well, you
don't
probably had to work enough of them as a bartender.
Yeah, there was yeah, the longest I mean, you don't get out of working that night. That's like well, you would think that it's like the Super Bowl of bartending, and it isn't. Like people come and they
That's
act like total
Blackout Wednesday.
jackasses. Yeah, that's a big one. The Wednesday around Thanksgiving is fucking lunacy. But people they come and they act like total assholes. But for the most part, they're just like going out. They watch the ball drop, and then usually people peter out.
Hmm.
Like they don't. It's not really that kind of a thing. It's which is weird. Um, last couple of years, I don't. I honestly have no recollection of what we did last year, the year before, if anything at all. So I'm guessing no. Not that there was much to do. So I was just like clicking around, and I found conceivably one of. I've got a couple of different things, but this is just like all New Year's crap because this is the New Year's episode. So if you are this year, if you're alone on New Year's, one, consider yourself lucky, in my opinion, because there's no pressure.
Yeah.
Uh, it's one of the few things I love about the fact that I busted my leg. Nobody expects anything out of me. I was actually going to take the wife dancing someplace. Uh, I don't have to. So that's the That'll be nice for me.
Uh,
No, I would have taken her, and I promised her that I would not bitch about it until at least February. Because February is my month, because that's when Valentine's Day is, and she knew we were dating that I refused to acknowledge it. But just so you know, going in, that's not a thing for me. That's not gonna. And sweetest day can go right to fucking hell. Like we're not. That's not a thing. Valentine's Day, we're not doing it. We're not doing that. So, but I found just a couple of little things. We got some lovely little things from around the world about some wackadoodle shit that people do to ring in the new year. But before that, I found from verywellmind.com. This is some of the suggestions they have. 10 tips to beat loneliness on New Year's Eve. So one,
is your penis.
yeah, to be that's the name of my penis and my horse. Loneliness meet loneliness.
Beat.
Loneliness squared.
So real quick.
Yeah.
Last year,
Mhm.
because there weren't really any people still kind of on doing comedy shows. One of our really nice local restaurants had a takeaway, like a big takeaway meal. And so we ordered from them and got dressed up and stayed in the house.
That's what we did for Christmas. Christmas last year, we found the only place that was open that was you could pick up sushi from, and it was right next to the titty bar. I remember that. We got a party plate of sushi that was meant for 5 people, and we ate it all. And then on New Year's Eve, we said, you know what? We don't care. Let's just go to sleep and wake up. Like, that's fine. None of this matters. It's just fine with me. I tell you what I didn't do on Christmas last year is what I had done for several years before that, which was wake up at the crack of dawn, put 20 people's worth of presents in the trunk of a goddamn rented car, because we didn't own one because we lived in the middle of the city, and a dog who's going to be freaking out the entire time, and a bunch of food, drive an hour and a half to the first family's place, and then go, ha, 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 yeah, here's a dog, as you freak out because he's going to want to smell everything, bark at all the children, and piss on something, open a whole bunch of presents, eat a big meal, then drive for 2 hours after that to the next person's, do that for dinner, and then drive 3 hours home. That's Christmas. No. When you're middle-aged and have no children, people expect you to do that shit.
They kind of expected us to do it for a long time with kids.
No.
And we've gotten to the point now where we're like, we don't travel on Christmas. Christmas is our day at home. We let everyone sleep in. We sit around in our sweats. We hand each other a handful of gifts and go here, because it used to be piles and piles of presents because the kids were little and they wanted toys and stuff, and now they're all old and they're just like, I want, a gift card for this, I want some cash and a new pair of pants. That's what I want. We're like, well, cool. That makes
We've already established your children, all they want is cash and no questions asked about what they're spending it on.
Yep.
That's all they ever require.
That's what I love about them. That's what I love. I'm like, and we always like get stupid stuff for stockings. And what I love, it was a tradition in Nicole's family. She gets them like $20 or $30 a piece in scratchers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There was one year that Gideon won $200,
Nice.
and he hasn't won anything since.
Well, Gideon is still. He would have had to like bribe somebody to go turn it in. He's too young to gamble.
Right. Well, he would. But
you won $200. I'll cash it in for $100 for you, kid.
Yeah. We of course will go cash. Of course, Glenn can cash his own in now. But
you have to be 18, right? 18 or 21? 18.
He'll be 21.
Oh no, I know that, but you have to be 18 or 21 to,
I'm sorry,
to gamble. It's 18, right?
18, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to be 21 to buy smokes and booze, but 18 if you want to gamble all your paycheck away.
That's right. They raised smokes again to 21. So you want to hear about the
let's beat loneliness.
Let's beat loneliness. This is one of those that I'm going to just there's 10, but I cut off the
for if you're alone on New Year's Eve, or if you're in a loveless marriage on New Year's Eve. There's ways to beat loneliness.
This is quite possibly the worst advice I've ever read in list form. Consequently, some of the worst decisions I ever made were based on other people's advice. So my advice is, if something, this is what I'd love to do, especially now that people like either medically or legally, because of all the things I'm going through right now. Everybody who I talk to, they go, "Well, you want some advice?" And I love that question because I get to say no, because they just want to say it to you. They don't want your answer. Like,
No,
I'll give you some advice. No,
no,
no.
thank you.
Oh no, but real, no, don't.
No,
It, oh God, it just puts that conversation to a halt. It makes me so hard.
I hired a professional to give me
Mhm.
advice. I don't need you and your amateur, your armchair lawyering.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no. What's your advice? Don't jump up and down on my broken leg, and then I don't know whatever the fuck else you're about to say. But no, no, just keep it. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you. Click. Oh God, that feels so good.
yeah.
That feels so goddamn good.
P-
Anyway, that's a non sequitur. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna give you the top nine
Imagine
out of
that on
10.
our show.
I'm gonna give you the top 9 out of 10 rapid fire,
Okay.
and then we can pick them apart real quick. I would give you the 10th, but I accidentally cut off the list at 9 when I took a screenshot, and I can't be bothered to find number 10. But I knew it wasn't this funny.
D plus effort.
Ready? So 10 tips. This is how you're going to beat loneliness on New Year's Eve. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Do something mundane, connect on social media, plan some phone calls, watch the ball drop, accept an invitation, make resolutions, read a book, reflect on the year, reframe negative thoughts.
I want to find who wrote this article and treat them the way I want to treat Ted Nugent. That's what I want to do. What the fuck? This is that's their advice?
Do something mundane, connect on social media, plan some phone calls, watch the ball drop, accept an invitation,
If you are
make
accepting invitations, you're not
resolutions,
lonely.
read a book, reflect on the year, reframe negative thoughts.
Reflect on the year, because if you're lonely and depressed, what you should do is wander through your lonely, depressed thoughts. Is this
That's
this isn't from the anti-suicide organization. This is for pro-suicide, isn't it? This is
this
the
is www.verywellmind.com, which I
www go ahead and end it.com.
which I can only assume is like run by one person who is an aunt to like 30 people but never had their own children, and she's just doing her best as she sits there and knits clothes for cats. Um, so do something mundane. So this is like just what like it goes into a little bit of like little stuff. I'm just going to sum up. I did this is off the top of my head from reading it, but they're like, oh yeah, just watch TV or make dinner or something. Just ignore it. Just try to ignore it. Push the feelings down.
So
You
treat it
Googled
like,
how to beat loneliness on New Year's Eve, and they're like, forget it, ignore it, pretend it's not there.
well, they're just one. They're suggesting that you do what you've probably been doing every day and have been like, nope, don't need to think about it. It's not a special occasion. It's just a Monday. And now you're you're lonely on New Year's Eve. That's very different. Like like I here's my advice. One, first and foremost, if you're lonely and have no one, you probably have money. I'm guessing you don't have anyone to spend money on. You've probably got some squirreled away. Buy one of those expensive fuck dolls that we talked about in one of the previous episodes. 1400 bucks or splurge.
We
Spend
found out
four,
you can get them secondhand. So if you're
yeah,
okay with that,
or splurge. Treat yourself and spend like what, 4 grand, wasn't it? For one that talks to you. There you go. And now you got somebody to kiss at midnight
the money that you save on a
besides your
secondhand
cat.
fuck doll, you could still use some of that money for a pressure washer and still come out ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could like put your iPhone behind its head and just call it and just pretend its name is Siri all night.
Can you just imagine though, like you made it through Thanksgiving, you made it through Christmas, you made it through Kwanzaa, if that's your thing, and or Hanukkah, just like the whole holiday season, where all you turn on the TV and all you see is fucking just polar bears drinking cokes and like just having the time of their life, and the same 9 movies that you're supposed to give a fuck about every year. You're like, oh, it's a Christmas story. Really? Are you that vapid? But you finally make it to New Year's, and you're like, I'm just gonna do a little self help. I'm not to the point where I need to talk to a therapist, but I'm gonna do a little Googling. How to beat loneliness on New Year's Eve. And this is what very well and this is like page one on Google for me. I was like,
Do your chores.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was part of the do something mundane too. It's like, hey, why don't you clean the bathroom, lonely boy? Why don't you do that?
Dude, that was, oh my God, did my dad write this? Because that was part of his advice. Dad, I'm a little lonely out here. Well, get to choring.
I do like this one. Plan some phone calls. Don't do them,
Just
but
plan them.
plan them.
Plan some phone calls, but don't follow through with them because the anxiety will whisper in your ear that no one really wants to talk to you.
They're just sitting there. Like, did this not occur to you before? It's like, shit, I'm lonely. Uh, there's
If
some people that would talk to me, I bet.
if only I had a device
Right.
that would allow me to contact another human being across town, much less across the world. Maybe I should do that. Or I could just sit here and watch another episode of Murder She Wrote.
Tears flavor Rocky Road. As long as you get in there, that little salt, that's where salt and caramel came from.
Yeah,
It's like, we all know Angela Lansbury.
just watching reruns of Golden Girls crying to the theme song. Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, I remember that's what number 10 was. It was Put the Razor Down. That was what 10 was.
No, it's Name the Razor. Now you have somebody to talk to in your final moments.
Make resolutions. That's a throwaway. Whoever did this list, it's like, what do we do to beat loneliness? Well, I can sit down and make some resolutions. That was number 4, though. They had to go through a few more of their list before they came up with that one. Like, oh, we can just put this. We're just filling. This is filler. Okay. Then we'll put watch the ball drop. But what do we put in between make resolutions and watch the ball drop? Oh, I know. Accept an invitation.
Again, if you have some, mm, if you've got some place you can be, and people sending you an invitation,
And you feel lonely.
I that would seem like a pretty look, I've been lonely and in the past, sometimes though, I found it healthy to be lonely. You know what I mean? Like to be like, well, I'm alone, I'm kind of lonely, and then go, no, you know what? Just let this be. Just experience this. Um and but then like I don't know. I've been in remote areas where I didn't know anybody, or the only people I knew were people I was working with, but they all had families that they were, and so I'd be in a hotel and be like, well, the bar in the hotel's still open. Guess I'm gonna go talk to the bartender if they're not busy, and if they seem like they want to. And I would go down and make friends. There was one time in Pennsylvania, I was desperately lonely in the hotel room. It was just like I'd never felt that isolated. It was weird. And I went downstairs. The bartender was super cool. I was like their only customer, and they had an on-site restaurant. And the guy that their chef was like, he comes out, I, bartender introduces us. I make friends with him. He was like, "You hungry?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah, I'm starved. I haven't had dinner yet. I was hoping you guys were still cooking." And he's like, "Well, we were gonna shut down early, but hey, I'll comp you your meal if you'll let me, I don't know, experiment with some dishes. I want to try some new things." And I was like,
How come you reveal if you'll let me experiment? There better be something after this, pal.
that better not be a period. There better you just keep talking.
With
I'll
your
be
dick and this watermelon. What?
with your butthole
And
and
this watermelon.
and this well beats being lonely. But yeah, he brought me like 4 different dishes that he and I we discussed it. We had a great time. I was hung out at the bar for like 3 hours. I'm not saying I get some people are lonely. Some people have to be alone, but sometimes I don't know.
You should have just accepted an invitation, Larry, according to verywellmind.com.
Well,
That's all you need to do. You
what
can
if no one
reflect.
invited me?
You can, that's then number
Then maybe
5
you
on the
need to
list.
look at yourself in the mirror and see what you're doing wrong.
There are certain times though that like I crave solitude a lot. Like the night I spent in jail was very nice for me. It was delightful. I was admittedly very very drunk. It was a drunk tank, but nobody bothered me. They don't talk to you as long as you don't scream. They don't come over. They just leave you there. That was fine. I also find plane rides to be lovely because you're surrounded by people, but you're expected to have headphones on. It is fairly loud in there, even though you don't really notice it. It's like everybody's expected to like you can be right next to somebody who you love and not feel obligated to talk to them at all for hours. I love that. Oh God, do I love that. Just the solitude of like, and every once in a while somebody will come over and you'd be like, white wine, thank you. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nicole and I both like our alone time. We both like being together, but we also like our alone time. That's why a lot of times now she used to travel with me more, but now she's like, it's kind of nice. I know you'll be home in 3 or 4 days, depending. And then I'll, but I get to be at home and do what I want and just get to chill out and recharge. And when she's, visiting her mom or going to see shows and spends the night, I it's nice. I'm in my chair when people are like, "Hey, you want to go do this?" And I'm like, "I really don't. I want to be alone in my house and I'm going to watch Longmire and drink the Pabst Blue Ribbon and probably order a steak off and get DoorDash to bring me a steak
Hmm.
and I get to just sit and look at the time and be like, oh, it's almost midnight. I got to work in the morning. I guess Walt and I'll just have to finish this mystery tomorrow. It's just well, and that was last time she was down at her mom's, her sister, and mom were like, oh, what is he doing tonight? And Cassie's like, wait, let me guess. He ate a pizza, ate a frozen pizza, drank beer, and watched Longmire. And Nick was like, "Is this correct?" I was like, "Fuck, she knows me, man. That's exactly what I did."
Well, if you want to be predictable, that's what I've learned in life. You want to be completely predictable. Uh, yeah, so read a book. That's just whoever wrote this list. I don't know. Read a book, stupid. Reflect on the year I thought was interesting. What got you here? Lonely.
Uh-huh.
Why? Why don't you reflect on it a little bit?
Yeah.
Put on Morrissey. Why don't you do that? Make sure it's really dimly lit in your
Yeah.
place.
Let's go with
Flash the neighbors, see what they say.
let's put on the Smiths and really, but let's put it on, put the record on, but slow it down so it's real fucking sad. Let's think about why she left you. It's all your fault. It's all your fault she cheated on you. I'm sure it is, and you should take the blame for that.
Watch the ball drop because that'll take 10 seconds. So that'll be good. And then reframe negative thoughts. Now, reframe negative thoughts. Don't cut. Don't cut. Oh, that blade does look shiny though. Um, I
I,
think that you and I could come up with much better things to do if you are lonely on New Year's Eve this year. And I task you and me both
okay.
coming up with some better advice. And I know that not 20 minutes ago I said never take advice. So please don't take any of this
No.
as advice at all. But I think a better solution, anything we can come up with is going to be better than this 10, just well, 9 droppings that are just like put on the internet here.
Yeah, that's some drivel. That's some pablum. Don't give me that. Let's dole it out. Let's dole out uh
I
Uncle Ziggy and Crunk Kringle give advice to the lonely.
I mean, we could switch up some holidays. You could go TPing your neighbor's trees.
Mm, yes. Yep.
If you get away with it, that'd be a hell of a lot more fun than watching the ball drop, saying a prayer, and reading a book. Just puts wet toilet paper in that prick across the street's tree who refuses to cut his grass more than once every 2 months. Makes your goddamn neighborhood look like the Bumpuses live there. You'll fuck with that guy a little bit. He probably won't clean it up, but you'll feel better. You'll feel better. What? How much is Charmin? Really?
um I would recommend, even if you live in a city, go to your local hardware store, buy a small chainsaw, and redo some topiaries in the park.
make make public shrubbery. Interesting. I like it. For my brain immediately went, how do you turn a bush to make it look like a vulva? I don't know if I have the artistic ability, but if you're going to practice, make sure that it's the city property.
Yeah, don't do it on your own property. Go to public property. You know what? Practice cutting down trees. I'm sure there's a few that need taken out. If you see an orange mark, that means either they want them cut down or they really don't. And guess what? You'll find out pretty quick.
In the paper the next day, as long as you're quick enough.
Yeah.
All of this should be under the cover of night, by the way. But that's fine because most people are going to be inside watching this stupid ball drop on TV, practicing how to count backwards from 10.
Yes. Yes.
You could also with the same chainsaw. Why don't you, instead of just trees, cut down a few light poles in your neighborhood?
Make
A
it
couple of
interesting.
a couple of poles that are holding up telephone and power lines. Knock a few of those fuckers down.
Yeah.
They're all, if you live in the country, they're everywhere, and you really only have to take down one for a beautiful light show.
It's true. It's true. Let's see. So this there's two sides to this next coin. Get yourself a ring light and just use your iPhone. It's got great cameras. And if you're a dude, buy a selection of like fuck sleeves. Some of various brands. Fleshlight is a name brand. They have several kinds, but I would go from
I've never heard the phrase "fuck sleeve."
it's a fuck sleeve. I don't know what else to. It's a and if you're a lady, various styles of vibrator, and just put that on that what is it, the neighborhood app, to tell your neighbors, just give them some advice on what works best for you.
Neighborhood
Nextdoor,
app.
that's what it is. Nextdoor.
I'm not. Help me out. I'm not familiar.
So you can get this. You can download this app that connects you to whatever neighborhood you live in by entering like I think you enter your address, and they're like, oh, within X amount of blocks, these people are in your neighborhood, and so you can. Sometimes it's helpful. Usually, it's just kind of racist.
That would
People
make a
can
lot more
post in
sense.
there,
Yeah.
hey, 5 minutes ago, somebody just stole something out of my garage. This is what I saw. Can you keep an eye out? Cops are looking for him. If you see him, let the cops know. Or somebody can also post, hey, I cut a tree down. I've got firewood. If you've got a fire pit, come by. It's free. Or they'll post, there's an African American gentleman walking through the neighborhood, and I don't trust him. And it turns out it's just my neighbor Carl taking his dog for a walk. But
right next to the felled tree and the firewood. Also the Ford Bronco that's underneath said tree. I should have got that. Was I buried the lead on that one. I broke your Ford Bronco, and I'm a racist. And can you please come get rid of this wood? You can burn it if you want. It's a very weird advertisement for Nextdoor.
Yeah, you can just record yourself and
Pleasure yourself for the neighborhood, utilizing specifically the ring light.
This is all business. It's all business. It's just you're trying to do a public service.
You're businessing yourself. You're not
You
pleasuring
are
yourself.
businessing the shit out of yourself.
How many animals will they allow you to adopt at one time? By they, I mean anybody who has animals to adopt.
Great question. I think that's a good way to. What better way to find out than to just go in and be like, I'll take all of these.
It's New Year's Eve. You figure the people in there, they want to get out there so they can count backwards from 10 while wearing a cocktail dress and drinking champagne in a place. And by the way, they're giving you the shittiest champagne that they could find. It's Cook's that you're drinking. It's Cook's or Mums.
It's sparkling white wine.
Yeah, it's Bleh. Yeah, there you go. Put on your fanciest outfit and go out to Applebee's.
This is the only champagne I want. Miller High Life. The
champizzle of beers.
I hate it.
No, I fucking love it. High Life is my usual go-to. But I just feel like if you have a truckload, like a Dodge Caravan full of animals that you have just adopted that don't know you, you could have a lot of fun in a lot of different ways. Like just go anywhere and open the door.
Yeah. Just back the van up to, well, back the van up to a crowded bar on New Year's Eve, open the doors, and once again have your iPhone ready and be like, "Yep, this is exactly what I thought would happen. That one's aggressive,
What
and
did
that
you
one's
do to New Year's
aggressively
Eve?
humpy."
I let 23 unwanted cats loose in a Walgreens. Why? Because why not? It
This
was spectacular. And
this
then I
CVS will never smell the same.
and then I purposely, while everybody was losing their minds doing that, kept throwing products through the security doors so that it kept going off the alarm. Dude, that was great. Nobody comes at you for a while. They're really just chasing the cats. They don't know who did it first, and then you just keep throwing, handfuls of condoms and electric razors and just shit right out the front. And by that time, the pharmacy's empty. You can help yourself to pills, help yourself to all the pills, and then go home and read a book. Read a book.
Well, okay, all right. To piggyback off that, if you're like, "Hey, I don't really feel like that's fair to those shelter animals," take 3 months prior and trap several small uh mammalian varmints.
Possums are gnarly.
Let's say possums, raccoons, rabbits, marmots, if you can get a hold of them. Several rats. I think rats
Mhm.
would be okay. Trap as many as you can 3 weeks prior. Make sure you feed them well. And then work on trapping multiple raptors, owls, hawks. If you can get an eagle, that'd be great. And then make sure that you go to a restaurant or bar or venue of some variety that has high ceilings and a service entrance. Release those mammals into this area, and then also as many of the raptors, as many of the birds of prey that you could get a hold of, and just watch people scatter as those hungry hawks and owls just go, "Fuck, that one's slow."
I don't see why verywellmind.com didn't come up with any of these. This beats the hell out of do something mundane. Don't do something mundane. Do something wackadoo.
Yep.
You're not lonely anymore. Well, you don't have time to be lonely. You're dodging the police. You're putting calamine lotion all over your body. You're dabbing open wounds with iodine because a lot of these have involved animals, varmints of some nature.
I do have a legitimate one, like an actual legitimate idea.
Okay.
It's still wackadoo. It's still fun, but it would be a legitimate idea. Don't make a profile for any of the standard dating apps. Go to something like Farmers Only or Christian Mingle, one of
Mhm.
those, and just catfish the shit out of people.
God. Well, see now I feel like you're aggressively attacking the other lonely people who are reading this original list and going, "Oh, reach out on social media. Maybe I can find a date on Farmers Only." Oh, well, you're the only farmer who lives in Brooklyn. It's not going to work for you, Jeb.
Oh no, it's Brooklyn now. It's been gentrified. There's a lot of rooftop farms.
Oh God, that's right. That's more aim. It's more just oh God, what do you call it? Wherever you help? Yeah, oh God, where you make honey, where you put fucking bees in. What do you call that goddamn thing?
Uh,
What do you call a bee farm? What do you call it?
a bee.
It's
I can't
something
remember.
airy. Oh
A
shit.
bestiary.
A bestiary. Yeah, that was my
Um,
favorite. Was bestiary 2, the bestiarying. What the fuck do you call that? Not an aviary, not a topiary. Oh fuck me. God
hey,
damn
if you
it.
guys have the answer, email us at
There's something to do if you're lonely.
at gmail.com.
Find us.
.org, .com, fuck my face.
Dot
Okay though. Okay.
edu.
Uh, I think throw me another fun idea, Zig.
Round something.
What did you say?
Pardon?
I'm gonna. Did you say drown something?
I did, yeah. I did. I
Like
don't know if I can.
Ooh, okay, okay. Let's
I don't know.
to go. You know what? No, no, you're right. That would
I
lighten up your
am.
life. No, absolutely.
You don't have time to be lonely if you're holding something underwater as it's fighting for life.
Hear
I understand.
hear me out. Now you're a vigilante. Okay. So
Before
go.
or after we've drowned something.
Well, the whole it's all the process.
Ah,
You're taking the law into your own hands. To go with the dating app thing. Now you catfish them as an underage, whatever they're into, girl, boy,
but are you
Uber,
looking for pederast on farmersonly.com now?
a Christian mingle, most likely.
Okay.
And then you trick them into meeting up with you in the park at 11:59 so that you can get that midnight kiss. And when they show up, you hit them in the head from behind, and put a lot of heavy things attached to them and roll them into the lake. Because especially if you're in the Chicagoland area, Lake Michigan will take it away. There's a
Take
lot of things.
Like Michigan's taking all covers. Let me tell you,
Yeah. And
this got
now you've done the
dark.
world a favor.
This got dark real quick. Hey, go to a NAMBLA rally and let off a dirty bomb. Like, what the fuck?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Great idea, buddy.
All you need is some enriched plutonium or uranium. Where do you get that? Craigslist? Fuck if I know. I don't know.
I think you can. It's everywhere. All right. Though. Okay. Legit. Let's give like one each, one legit idea each for lonely people. Because that's the thing. We're making jokes. We both know that loneliness can be rough on people, and mental health issues are serious. I'm an advocate for therapy. I've had my issues. I know what the taste of gunmetal is. It's a thing. So, but so it's just why I feel comfortable joking. What?
No, it's just I hate being reminded of the Lethal Weapon movies. That's all.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's and I only watch the Looney Tunes Christmas Carol every year. So,
There you go. Yeah.
but one day I'll catch the bastard that killed my wife. But yeah, yeah. We understand it's a serious. So let's give one each, one legit piece of advice that the listeners can ignore.
Go out in public with one ball hanging out of your fly and pretend like you don't know.
That's your legitimate piece of advice.
I did that once. Not on New Year's Eve, but I did do that once. I did it at a Walmart 2 in the morning sober. I wasn't lonely, but I was bored. I'm not sure if those two things. I was alone. I wasn't lonely. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I was driving. I'm like, yeah, let's. It was an idea. I don't know. I was weird in college.
Weird in college. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
You get looks, but nobody wants to say anything at an all night Walmart to anybody at all, really. Um,
I stuck a plunger to my head and walked around a Hy-Vee one night, and then we had to get help to get it off of my head. Like Nicole was trying to like get her thumbs underneath, and one of the employees was like, "That's hilarious. Let me help though." It's like they and just had like a perfect halo around the top of my head. It was great.
Steal somebody's wallet and force them to be your friend. How about that?
Sure, I'll take it.
You can have it back if we can talk about our favorite episode of Seinfeld together. Like, do something like that. Something fun.
I'd let you keep my wallet if you did that.
I
But Seinfeld, good.
don't know.
I know that's gonna really upset some people that I'm not a fan of Seinfeld.
I don't mind Seinfeld. I don't seek it out, but I don't
Yeah, I
mind it.
just never dug it. I just never dug it. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah, I like that. You like Curb? I like Curb Your Enthusiasm too. That's just
I,
Seinfeld, but it's just seen through the eyes of George and with money.
yeah, I like Larry David,
Mhm.
but I hit a point though where I'm like, all right, that's enough. That's I'm good on that.
I bet you he would agree with you. It's like after a while, it's enough of me. After a while,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. I like the real Larry David though, because he's just kind of the same guy,
Mhm.
just sometimes meaner. I think. Okay. I well, I don't know if this is legit. It's not good advice. I was gonna say drink until you forget you're lonely. Start talking to the things around your house. I've done that.
Name all of your appliances and make sure at least some of them are ethnic.
Look, and I know, like, for some people, just going out and doing something is not an option. So
Yeah.
there are other things attached to potential loneliness. But if it's just you're sitting around the house and you're lonely, just go. I know it's easier said than done, and I am an introvert that presents extroverted. Um, I like being alone. I like the quiet, but sometimes you get lonely. Go out and you're okay. Perfect scenario, I guess. You're not. It's not that you have anything connected to this, like a pre-existing condition that would force you to stay in. No, like severe anxiety or anything. You are just in a new city. You don't know anybody. Find the diviest bar near you. Go into it and start talking. You will make a friend, whether it be with the bartender or the weird old dude from who has a deep Assyrian accent.
I wholeheartedly agree with this. However, do one thing first. Whoever you talk to, you're gonna have to do a smell test.
Mm.
That's all I would say. Do a quick sniff test. If they pass whatever parameters you've set for yourself, then proceed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's the where we gave some silly advice, but not for nothing. If you're super lonely,
It's your fault.
not where I was going. I was
No, is
gonna
that not
say
right? Is that what we're
I was
supposed to
gonna
say?
say
I'm channeling my father. I didn't know.
on turn on Zig and Larry, ignore a topic, because we're just hanging out with you guys. We're here to keep you company.
That's my dad always used to say. If you're super lonely, remember an electric razor won't slit your wrist. That's he was not a warm man.
Yeah, well, it's like my
It's-
dad always told me, it's down the river, not across the street, because otherwise people will think you're a pussy.
I don't even know what that means.
Because you go,
Oh God. Okay. Yes, I do. Thank
yeah,
you very much. Yeah.
but you gotta hit.
Hmm.
Not that I'm giving advice. This is not advice. I'm not teaching anybody. It's just mine healed real well.
Jesus Christ.
Look, I just want people to know that I know where they're coming from.
Zig and Larry ignore loneliness. What a terrible idea.
No, I think this is a great episode. Reach out to anybody. You know what though? If your loneliness is creeping over into a real dark place, and you don't want to talk on the phone to anybody, there is the suicide prevention line. You don't have to talk to them. You can actually text with them, and it's very helpful. So do that if you need to. That's my one serious thing. If you're not comfortable talking, that person will text with you and will ask you if you want to talk if it starts to get to the point. And they're great. They are super useful. So do that and then go from there.
They also accept promo code Zig and Larry in all caps.
They do. They do.
I could not do a joke into that.
No, you had
God
to. You
damn
had
it.
to. I had to do the. I had
God
to do the thing.
damn it. It's not even a good
You
one.
had to do the joke. I was hoping.
Not
you
even a
would.
good one.
It was no. It was great. I loved it.
No.
Remember, BetterHelp.com. Use promo code Zig and Larry. Larry is sad.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, I'm gonna run this bitch to the ground, but first I'm gonna tell you what you learned
Okay.
this episode. And it's gonna be something that you didn't know you learned until right now because you didn't know it until I said it and I'm about to.
Okay.
We didn't get to my around the world stuff, and we're never going to, but I'm gonna tell you that this year on New Year's Eve, something very special is going to happen in a lot of homes in Greece. This is what you learned, Larry. In Greece, traditionally, an onion is hung on the front door of homes on New Year's Eve. Then on New Year's Day, parents wake their children up by tapping them on the head with the onion. First, you hang it outside, you let it sit overnight. And then once that Mediterranean salt air is really seeped in to your Grecian onion, you wake up your kids by beaning them with the Vidalia. Which is the only time I've ever been really excited to be a father. It's like that'd be like, oh, that'd be something I would do. I'd wrap some fucking stinky produce on my kid. Like, come on.
That is another cure for loneliness. Being a kid in the head
With an onion.
with a Vidalia. Honestly, I would go with a red onion because you can get kind of a better. It's more baseball size. You could
Yeah, you probably get a much better. You probably throw a decent curve on that too if you had to.
Or, hear me out, take a shallot and a slingshot and just really whip that motherfucker.
What can I buy in the produce aisle that'll leave a welt but probably won't send me to prison overnight?
Knock that little shithead right off the swings.
Let's see. The really small, hard Brussels
lead it.
sprouts I'm looking at.
You gotta lead it. You gotta really.
You gotta lead it. That was number 10 on the list after read a book. Produce.
I swear to Christ. But okay. You know what? I don't even want to know why. I don't want to know why they do it.
Because it's New Year's.
We are weird. Humans are fucking weird. You know, animals would go, why? Just
I have to give you one more. I know we're over time. I don't give a shit. I really want to do this other one. Other than I think people are weird. I love this one. In Colombia. On New Year's Eve, you take an empty suitcase and you walk around the block in hopes of travel. Now, in this day and age, I don't know. Maybe it's a Colombian thing, but you don't need to hope to travel. You need to hope to escape, maybe, or you plan to travel. You don't just take your fucking Samsonite with nothing in it down and around the block and take a left at 4 stop signs.
Because it's not there's nothing in it. It's Colombia. There's something in it. And then
no, this specifically has to be empty.
No.
It's New Year's.
Sure. They take the empty one and then they set it on the corner and pick up the full one, take it back to their house so that it can then be split, distributed, and sent. It's a thing. It's a thing. I spent some time in Colombia.
How long? 5 to 7?
5 to 7. It was. Do you know in Colombia they you get different sentences. Mine was I was sentenced to a donkey show. Not great. I would rather talk about doing hard time. I'll tell you.
It was 9 times in a row.
In a day. It was. That's why I walk funny.
It would have only been 8, but one of the burros was a little bit hungry.
They kept slipping in Viagra, and he must perform.
You want to watch the ball drop? No, I gotta walk this briefcase around the block. I really want to go to Greece so I can hit somebody with a fucking onion.
I just want to. I'm going upstairs and I'm grabbing an onion and I'm screaming, "Happy New Year!" and I'm flinging it at Gideon.
I'm trying to think of one Grecian name. Give me one Grecian name. What would a Grecian boy be named? One Greek male name.
Nico.
Nico, thank you very much. Nico, wake up. What was that? It's a fucking onion.
Why?
Because it's 2022. Yeah, it's an onion.
Every kid comes back from Christmas break with like a shiner that's onion size. Papa was drinking. He got into the ouzo.
They're squeezing fucking onion juice in your children's sleeping eyes in Greece. No, you're doing that wrong. What? It's supposed to be cute. Why did we do this in the first place? I don't know. There's a whole lot of things going on this island that make no sense to me.
Hey, real quick, just before we finish the episode, thanks for this, because this is our last episode of the year. Thanks for another fun year, buddy. And thanks to the listeners that have stuck around and that we've gained. Thanks for being here. Thanks for just hanging out. It's fun.
Why don't you hit us with a like and a subscribe and a tickle of the nutsack here and there?
Yeah, it's a little review. Just one review.
It costs you nothing.
It costs
you nothing.
You're gonna be pooping anyway. Just take the time on the toilet instead of rage scrolling through Twitter. Leave a rage review.
You can write nasty shit about me in there. That's fine. My apathy knows no bounds.
5 stars.
But then why you hate it?
Yep.
Yep, that works for
5
me.
stars helps. 5 stars really helps. But yeah, it's just thanks to the listeners, and let's. I think we've got some fun stuff for 2022. I think we've got some fresh ideas. We're gonna.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting Omicron, so that'll be fun.
Oh. Well, cheers.
You just gotta lick the right guy, you know.
That's what Grandma always said.
That's how you get a man.
Yep.
Tap him on the head with an onion, lick the right guy.
Hey, buddy, guess what?
I licked the right guy today.
Yeah, you damn right you did.
Mwah! Big dating game kiss.
Mwah. Love you back.